Another argument that is used to try and defeat the Ritvic Ras path is the claim that an ongoing Ritvic representative of the Acharya system would violate the law of disciplic succession. The GBC have often used this phrase, the law of disciplic succession. It comes from the following letter written to Tushta Krishna, where Srila Prabhupada wrote, quote, "Keep trained up very rigidly, and then you are bona fide guru, and you can accept disciples on the same principle. But as a matter of etiquette, it is the custom that during the lifetime of your spiritual master, that you bring prospective disciples to him. And in his absence or disappearance, you can accept disciples without limitation. This is the law of disciplic succession. I want to see that my disciples become bona fide spiritual master and spread Krishna consciousness very widely. That will make me and Krishna very happy." This is a letter to Tushta Krishna, written on the 2nd of December, 1975. Here, Srila Prabhupada says that in the absence or disappearance of one's guru, then you can accept disciples without limitation. This is the law of disciplic succession. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada wanted that all his disciples come to the Mahabhagavat stage. And after he departs, we can all take disciples. All gurus want this. This is the ideal scenario. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati also wanted this. But in the end, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was leaving this world, no one was yet qualified. And therefore, he selected no one to be the next Acharya. He said the next Acharya would rise up like the full moon in the sky and become self-evident. We cannot and should not diminish what Srila Prabhupada clearly stated here. Yes, His Divine Grace wanted that His followers become advanced and that we all become guru. So if those of us who become so advanced and receive His direct order to do so, they can, they should, and they must do so. But the only way that that will work is for those gurus to start their own ashrams separately from ISKCON, where they then become the ultimate master and the ultimate authority of the ashram where they act as gurus. That is the traditional way of the disciplic succession. That is the true law of disciplic succession. But we also cannot misuse this statement as a carte blanche permission or order that regardless of our lack of advancement, that we can or should become guru simply because His Divine Grace wanted us to, and He has left this world. We still have to become qualified. We cannot wrongly claim that this and similar statements given by Srila Prabhupada had given us full authorization for ourselves to become guru as soon as Srila Prabhupada departs, regardless of our own lack of qualification. No, it isn't that every single disciple, despite how fallen, despite their lust for mundane sense enjoyment, despite their mundane desire to want to lord it over others, despite their desire for fame or to be adored, etc., should automatically become guru just based on statements like this. No, we have to be actually qualified first. And again, as I have shown over and over in this section of the presentation, it is a totally incompatible situation for there to be actual gurus within Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON ashrams when there is a GBC authority. You can't have multiple gurus within one organization, especially when there is already an ultimate GBC authority. Because gurus means he has to be the ultimate authority of his disciples. I've already given this. Therefore, those who do become gurus must do so only in their own separate ashram. But the other argument given by those who are opposed to the ongoing Ritvic Ras path argue that if we do allow Srila Prabhupada, like we are supposed to allow him or not, we're not his gatekeepers, but anyway, if we allow Srila Prabhupada to continue to accept disciples directly via this continuation of the Ritvic Ras system, the Ritvic representatives, that this will put an end to the disciplic succession. Then there will be no more gurus after Srila Prabhupada, they argue. And that Srila Prabhupada can go on taking disciples unlimitedly forever and ever. And that would break the law of disciplic succession. Several things are totally wrong with this argument. First of all, now that Srila Prabhupada is no longer present in his Vapu form, as I've pointed out already, any of Prabhupada's disciples who have Srila Prabhupada's direct order and his full blessings, and who are fully qualified, they are totally free to start their own ashram and take their own disciples, even while the Ritvik Ras system Srila Prabhupada has set up is still functioning, and he is still accepting his own disciples via that system. The fact is, Srila Prabhupada can continue to accept disciples will not put an end to the disciplic line or prevent anyone else from becoming guru. That is still totally open. Secondly, the fact that Srila Prabhupada will still be accepting disciples also means that the disciplic line has not come to an end. In previous ages, people lived for 10,000 years, 100,000 years. What if Srila Prabhupada would still take disciples for 10,000 years? That will not put an end to the disciplic succession. We have no idea how long he will continue to accept disciples. That is up to him, not for us to decide or dictate. We are not his gatekeepers that we should allow or not allow. That is up to Srila Prabhupada. While this statement given by Srila Prabhupada does show us that his desire would be a future where all or many of his disciples will become advanced enough to take their own disciples and spread this Krishna consciousness movement widely. That statement itself does not give any details as to how that would work if it were to happen within the one ISKCON organization. What I'm pointing out here is that while the GBC like to refer to this and other similar statements, where Srila Prabhupada did clearly express his desire that we become advanced and become gurus and accept our own disciples after he departs, these statements do not provide even a hint as to the details of how that was to work within the one ISKCON organization. To have thousands of spiritual masters functioning within one organization. As I said, this is just nothing that any past acharya has ever done. To have even 10 gurus or 2 gurus functioning within the same organization. As with Madhva Acharya, he had 8 or 10, I can't remember which, moths or ashrams, so he split them up when he left. Each one has their own guru. This is not the system Srila Prabhupada set up. So how do you have thousands of gurus within one organization that has an ultimate higher authority, an ashram authority, the GBC? So then the gurus are compromised because they can't be actual masters of their disciples. They can't give instructions without first, taking permission from temple presidents and GBCs. Can I give this order to my disciple? I want him to leave your temple and come live with me. Can I take your permission to do? No, it's not a guru. That's not the master. The master is not just the master of his disciples. He is the master of the ashram. I've gone off script a little bit, but this is ad lib. I have mentioned this before previously. I had this realization that the gurus needed their own ashrams. I already had that realization myself. But as I was studying this, I found that Srila Sridhar Maharaj had that same realization. And he said that he saw, and I will cover this in the chronological timeline when I am covering that 1978 paper of the GBC paper. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj was also saying that it's just like brahmacharis in the ashram. Once they become take up grihastha life, they move out of the guru's ashram and they start their own ashram, their own grihastha ashram, where they are now the masters of that house. Some devotees have questioned the validity of my take on this, that those who want to be gurus must take leave of ISKCON and start their own ashram. They argue that this is not something that Srila Prabhupada would have wanted. I disagree. Traditionally, the ashram of the guru it's really only for brahmacharis and sannyasis. If and when a brahmachari wants to marry and become a grihasta, he must take leave of his guru's ashram and he will start his own grihasta ashram. The word gri means the house, and asta means to be in or involved with. When brahmachari marries, he now becomes the master of his own separate house or place or ashram. He still accepts his guru as his master, but he starts his own separate ashram. And there he is the master of that household. Similarly, when one wants to be guru, he needs his own gri, or place, or ashram, where he will become the master of that ashram. That is the traditional system. What is taking place in ISKCON today is not at all traditional. It is full of conflicts and compromises. At one temple, you can have 80 devotees, and all 80 can have a different guru. 80 masters in that one ashram. Besides this, or I should say on top of this, there is the local GBC and the GBC body, who is the ultimate master of the ashram. The whole system is full of conflicts and compromises. It is not a system that can operate efficiently, and it will not last. Those who claim that they are gurus are not acting as real masters of their disciples because they can't act as the real master of the ashram where they are posing as a guru. There is another higher ashram authority. So it is compromised, it is faulty, it is ineffective, it is an artificial system.